Welcome students, myself SC Kunde from JDC Bitco English Medium High School Nasik Road. Our first lesson is going on laws of motion. Next topic is uniform circular motion. What is meant by uniform circular motion? Uniform circular motion can be described as the motion of an object in a circle at constant speed. As an object moves in a circle, it is constantly changing its direction. At all instances, the object is moving tangent to the circle. See here, some examples of uniform circular motion are given here. Observe the tip of the second hand of a clock. What can you say about its velocity and speed? Speed of the tip is constant, but the direction of its displacement and therefore its velocity is constantly changes. As the tip is moving along a circular path, now see here, some examples of changes in direction are given. One is square, one is pentagon and one is hexagon. Now draw a rectangular path shown in this figure. Place the tip of your pencil on the middle of any side of the square path and trace the path. You note that how many times you have to change the direction while tracing the complete path. When an object is moving with a constant speed along a circular path, the change in velocity is only due to the change in direction. When you are driving a car or a scooty, that time what happens? You are going with constant speed. But when your direction changes, that time your velocity is also changes due to the change in direction. And such a motion is called as the uniform circular motion. If an object moving along a circular path of radius r takes time t to come back to its starting position, its speed can be determined using the formula given below. Speed is equals to circumference divided by time. Speed is equals to v, circumference is equals to 2 pi r and time is equals to t. Therefore, v is equals to 2 pi r upon t. Take a circular disc and put a 5 rupee coin at a point along its edge. Make it move around its axis by putting a pin through it. When the disc is moved at higher speed, the coin will be thrown off. Note the direction in which it is thrown off. Repeat the action placing the coin at different points along the edges of circle and observe the direction in which the coin is thrown off. The coin will be thrown off in the direction of the tangent, which is perpendicular to the radius of disc. The direction in which it gets thrown off depends on its position at the moment of getting thrown off. As the coin moves along a circular path, the direction of its motion is changing at every point. Now see here, small example. An athlete is running on a circular track. He runs a distance of 400 meters in 25 seconds. Before returning to his original position, what is his average speed and velocity? That we have to find. Given here, total distance travel is given 400 meters. Total displacement is equals to 0 because he is returning again back. So his displacement is 0. Total time is equals to 25 seconds. And you have to find average speed and average velocity. Average speed is equals to total distance covered divided by total time taken. Now it is given 400 and the time is 25 seconds. So that is equals to 16 meter per second. And average velocity is equals to total displacement divided by total time taken. That is equals to 0 divided by 25. That is equals to 0 meter per second. Next topic is Newton's law of motion. Some examples are given here. A static object does not move without the application of a force. The force which is sufficient to lift a book from a table is not sufficient to lift the table. Fruits on a tree fall down when its branches are shaken. An electric fan keeps on rotating for some time even after it is switched off. Why this happen? What is the reason behind this? Now this is because of the inertia, and inertia is related to the mass of the object. Newton's first law of motion describes this property, and therefore it is also called as the law of inertia. Balance and unbalanced force. Now you must have played tug of war. In that, the forces applied by both the sides are equal, that is balance, and at the center of the rope is static in spite of the applied forces. Now on the other hand, when the applied force becomes unequal or unbalanced, the net force get applied in the direction of the greater force, and the center of the rope is also shifted in that direction where the force is greater. An object continues to remain at rest or in a state of uniform motion along a straight line unless an external unbalanced force acting on it. This is the Newton's first law of motion. Another example is that you are playing with ball on the ground. Firstly, when you are keeping ball on the ground, it is at the rest position. Unless and until when you are applying force on that ball with your finger or with your foot, that time only the ball will be moved. Now next, the Newton's second law of motion. Now this second law is related to momentum. Momentum is nothing but the mass and the velocity. Now ask your friend to drop one plastic and rubber ball from the same height. You catch the ball. Which ball was easier to catch and why? Because it is depends on the velocity and the mass of that object. Now the effect of one object striking another object, it is depend on mass and velocity of the object. And this property is termed as the momentum. And momentum P is the product of mass and velocity of an object. That is P is equals to m into v. And momentum is a vector quantity. Newton's second law states that the rate of change of momentum is proportional to the applied force, and the change of momentum occurs in the direction of the force. Suppose an object of mass m has an initial velocity u. When a force F is applied in the direction of its velocity for time t, its velocity becomes v. The initial momentum of the object is equals to mu, and the final momentum after time t, that is equals to mv. Rate of change of momentum is equals to change in momentum divided by time t. Rate of change of momentum is equals to mv minus mu divided by t. When I am taking m as a common, then in bracket we have to write v minus u upon t. And v minus u upon t is equals to your acceleration. Previously we have learned this acceleration is equals to final velocity minus initial velocity upon t. According to the Newton's second law of motion, the rate of change of momentum is proportional to the applied force. Now ma is directly proportional to force F. Therefore F is equals to k ma. Now here k is the constant of proportionality and the value of k is 1. Therefore F is equals to m into a. Newton's third law of motion. It is stated that every action force has an equal and opposite reaction force which acts simultaneously. When one object applies a force on another object, the latter what happens, the object also simultaneously applies a force on the former object. The forces between two objects are always equal and opposite, and this idea is expressed in Newton's third law of motion. Now example of this, when you are hitting ball on the wall, with same velocity the ball is coming back again. Law of conservation of momentum. Suppose an object A has mass m1 and initial velocity is u1, and another object B has mass m2 and initial velocity u2. According to the formula for momentum, The initial momentum of A is m1 u1 and B is m2 u2. Suppose these two objects collide with each other and the force is acting on them are F1. This force will be cause acceleration A and its velocity will becomes v1. Therefore, momentum of A after collision, that is equals to m1 v1. According to the Newton's third law of motion, the object A also exerts an equal force on B, but in the opposite direction, and this will cause a change in the momentum of B, and after collision the velocity is v2. Therefore, the momentum of B after collision is equals to m2 v2. If F2 is the force that acts on object B, then F2 is equals to minus F1. The minus sign becomes because opposite reaction is there, so that's why the sign is minus. Therefore, M2A2 is equals to minus M1A1. Our formula is that force is equals to MA. So, M2 into A means the acceleration. Acceleration is equals to V minus U upon T. So, M2 into A2 means V2 minus U2 divided by T is equals to minus M1 into V1 minus U1 upon T. So, M2 take as a common, in bracket V2 minus U2 is equals to minus M1 into V1 minus U1 multiplying by M2. So, M2 V2 minus M2 U2 is equals to minus M1 V1 plus M1 U1. So, the formula is that M2 V2 plus M1 V1 is equals to M1 U1 plus M2 U2. That is, the final momentum is equals to initial momentum. Therefore, the magnitude of total final momentum is equals to the magnitude of total initial momentum. Thus, if no external force is acting on two objects, then their total initial momentum is equal to their final momentum. And when no external force acts on two interacting objects, their total momentum remains constant. It does not change. And another point is that when two objects collide, the total momentum before collision is equal to the total momentum after collision. Solve examples. The mass of a cannon is 500 kg and it recoils with a speed of 0.25 meter per second. What is the momentum of the cannon? Given here, mass of the cannon is equals to 500 kg, recoil speed that is 0.25 meter per second, and you have to find the momentum. So our formula is that momentum P is equals to m into v, mass into velocity. That is 500 into 0.25 is equals to 125 kilogram meter per second. This is the momentum. Write down Newton's all three laws of motion and law of conservation of momentum and complete the exercise.